In the heart of one of the harshest deserts on Earth, Saudi Arabia is embarking on a massive trillion-dollar project that could redefine the way human civilization is built. A 170-kilometer-long city with no cars, no streets, no carbon emissions. A ski resort in the middle of 120-degree heat. A floating industrial port, powered entirely by robots. And a future where oil is no longer the king. This isn't science fiction. It's called Neom, and if it succeeds, the desert will never be the same again. For decades, Saudi Arabia's power came from one thing: oil. Nearly 40% of its GDP, around 70% of government revenue, the foundation of its global influence. But oil has an expiration date. The world is moving toward renewables. Electric vehicles are rising. Climate pressure is mounting. And one day, whether in 20 years or 50, the demand curve will flatten. Saudi Arabia knows this. And instead of waiting for decline, is trying to reinvent itself from the ground up, not just economically, physically, geographically. Neom is the centerpiece of that gamble. Announced in 2017 by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Neom is part of Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia's master plan to diversify its economy away from oil. But Neom isn't a single project. It's an entirely new region, a 26,500 square kilometer development in the northwest corner of the country, Jordan and the Red Sea. That's roughly the size of Belgium. Planned cost, officially around $500 billion. But when you include infrastructure, energy systems, transportation networks, and associated developments, many analysts estimate the total transformation could approach or exceed $1 trillion over time. At the center of Neom are several mega-developments. The most famous is the Line, a 170-kilometer long, 200-meter wide, 500-meter tall, mirrored city stretching across the desert in a straight line. No cars, no roads. High-speed transit, connecting end-to-end in 20 minutes, designed to house up to 9 million people. Then there's Oxagon, a floating industrial hub in the Red Sea. Dragina Mountain Resort with outdoor skiing in a desert nation. Sindalan ultra-luxury island destination, targeting the global elite. This isn't just urban planning. It's a complete redesign of how a country functions. But vision is easy. Building it is something else entirely. Start with the Line. On paper, it sounds elegant. Instead of cities spreading outward in endless suburban sprawl, this city goes vertical and linear. 2 parallel skyscraper walls, mirrored facades. Everything you need: schools, offices, parks, hospitals within a 5-minute walk. High-speed rail buried beneath. No need for cars. In theory, this reduces emissions, land use, and commuting time. But here's the engineering problem. You're building to 500-meter tall, continuous structures. For 170 kilometers, that's longer than the distance between Los Angeles and San Diego. It requires millions of tons of steel and concrete, massive foundational systems across shifting desert sands, advanced cooling in extreme heat, and mirrored exteriors in one of the sunniest places on Earth. Glass at that scale becomes a thermal nightmare. To make it livable, engineers must deploy advanced insulation, shading systems, renewable energy integration, and possibly one of the largest distributed AI-managed infrastructure networks ever built. Then there's water. Saudi Arabia is one of the most water-scarce countries in the world. Neom plans to rely heavily on desalination, powered by renewable energy. That means massive solar and wind farms feeding into energy-hungry desalination plants, producing water for millions, in a place where rain is rare. Energy is another pillar. Neom aims to run entirely on renewable energy. In fact, it's also building one of the world's largest green hydrogen plants, a joint venture, estimated at over $8 billion, to export clean fuel globally. The desert, once valuable only for oil beneath it, is now being positioned as a solar powerhouse. But scaling that kind of infrastructure fast is extraordinarily complex and expensive.
The quarterly results look promising.
Absolutely, this
Why
expansion
take such a
opens up
risk?
so many new opportunities.
Because the stakes are existential. Saudi Arabia's population is young, around 60% or under 35. The country needs jobs, millions of them. It needs tourism, foreign investment, technology, transfer. If oil revenues decline and there's no replacement engine, the economic shock could be severe. Neom is meant to attract global capital. NAB, global talent, global companies. The idea is simple. Build a futuristic city so advanced, so ambitious, that the world has no choice but to pay attention. Make it a hub for biotech, AI, advanced manufacturing, entertainment, and renewable energy. If Dubai was about luxury and finance, Neom is about the future. But geopolitics complicates everything. Saudi Arabia sits in a volatile region. It has complex relationships with the United States, China, and Europe. Foreign investors weigh not just opportunity, but political risk. Will regulations evolve fast enough? Will social reforms continue? Can a nation built on conservative traditions transition smoothly into a hyper-modern global tech hub? These are not small questions, and they influence every dollar that flows in or stays out. Then there's the controversy. Building megaprojects is never clean. Reports have emerged of delays, of scaled-back expectations, of construction timelines shifting from aggressive to more realistic. Originally, millions were expected to live in the line by 2030. Now projections suggest far smaller numbers in the early phases. Cost inflation is another concern. Megaprojects almost always exceed budgets. When you're dealing with mirrored skyscrapers stretching 170 kilometers, even small miscalculations multiply into billions. Environmental concerns also loom. A mirrored wall across the desert could disrupt bird migration patterns. Construction across untouched landscapes alters ecosystems. And while Neom promotes sustainability, the embodied carbon in such massive construction is enormous. Then there's human impact. To make way for development, some local tribes have reportedly been relocated, sparking international scrutiny. Megaprojects of this scale rarely move forward without friction. The difference is that here, the world is watching. So what happens if it succeeds? If even half the vision materializes, Neom could redefine urban development globally. Cities are struggling everywhere. Congestion, pollution, housing crises, infrastructure decay. If the line proves that ultra-dense, car-free, vertically integrated cities are viable, urban planners worldwide will study it. If Saudi Arabia becomes a leader in green hydrogen and renewables, it could transition from oil superpower to clean energy superpower that would reshape global energy markets. It could shift geopolitical leverage. Instead of exporting crude oil, Saudi Arabia could export advanced technology, sustainable fuels, and innovation ecosystems. Neom could also spark a regional transformation. Neighboring countries may accelerate their own diversification plans. The Middle East could become a hub not just of energy but of next-generation infrastructure. And perhaps most importantly for Saudi Arabia, it could secure economic stability beyond oil. A new social contract. A new identity. From petrostate to futuristic powerhouse. It's loud. If Neom becomes a half-finished megastructure in the desert, it risks becoming a symbol of overreach, a trillion-dollar mirage. Global investors may hesitate to fund future large-scale transformations. Youth unemployment pressures could rise, and the country might remain more dependent on oil than planned just as the world accelerates away from it. There's also a reputational risk. Vision 2030 is deeply tied to national pride and leadership credibility. A stalled Neom wouldn't just be an economic setback. It would be a psychological one, and history is filled with grand visions that outpaced reality. From ghost cities in China to stalled megaprojects in emerging economies. Ambition alone doesn't guarantee success. Execution does. Right now, construction cranes rise from the desert. Foundations are being laid. Ports are expanding. Energy projects are underway. It's not just a concept anymore. It's concrete, steel, glass, and sand being reshaped at an almost unimaginable scale. But the true test isn't whether buildings can be erected. It's whether people will come. Will global companies relocate teams there? Will families move into a linear city with no cars? Will talent choose the desert over London, Singapore, or Silicon Valley? Cities aren't just infrastructure. They're culture, their spontaneity, their organic growth. And those things are hard to engineer from scratch. The desert has always been a symbol of emptiness, of limits, of harsh survival. Saudi Arabia is betting that the same landscape can become a symbol of reinvention, of technological ambition, of post-oil identity. $1 trillion is more than a construction budget. It's a statement, a declaration that the future doesn't belong only to established global capitals. It can be built from nothing. The question is not whether the desert can be transformed. It's whether transformation this bold can outpace economic reality, political complexity, and human nature itself. Because in the end, Neom isn't just about buildings. It's about rewriting the story of an entire nation. And the world is waiting to see whether this futuristic city rising from the sand becomes the blueprint of tomorrow, or the most expensive experiment in modern history.